Hey guys, it's Tinker Tailor here today, bringing you back another Pokemon build series video. Today we have Sunflora, who looks like, imagine if, you know when people have mascots and then of things that are not human, or like they could be animals but also other things that are not human and they make them humanized. There's a word for it. Could not tell you what it is right now because yeah, I just sneezed my brains out like 10 seconds before this video started, so I'm not all here right now. But yeah, it looks like a mascot for a sunflower, and it's super cute. I can imagine this at like a volleyball game. I don't know why volleyball, I guess because its face kind of looks like a volleyball, like the inside of the sunflower where all the seeds usually are, it kind of looks like a little bit of a volleyball. It's just the vibes it's given me. And it just looks really happy and cheery. So yeah, I thought, why not do a little sunflower farm? So that's what I've done. I've never been to a sunflower farm before, so I kind of made this up. I did look up sunflower farm and looked at a bunch of images. So, you know, I kind of mishmashed them together. And I hope it looks like something that would be a sunflower farm. But yeah, I don't know, it's pretty simple, pretty, I don't want to say bland and blank and whatever, but bland and blank. I feel like it's one of those places where like it wouldn't necessarily be all that overly decorated. Not decorated, but like it wouldn't be overly furnished and whatnot. So there is a little garage, and then there is the little house, very little house, and then yeah, the rest of it is sunflower farm. Originally I wasn't going to do it on this lot. I wanted to do it in Henford on Bagel, because it's such a good world for this sort of build, but I build in that world so often that I just don't feel like doing it, you know? Like I want to try other worlds. I want to try, you know, doing things a little bit differently. So we are in the cats and dogs world. Could not tell you what it's called. I am so bad with like there's so many packs and kits and whatever, and so many names, and you know, there's just so much to remember that I really honestly don't remember half of it. But yeah, this is in, I keep thinking Fisherman's Wharf, but that's one of the neighborhoods in the world. Brindleton Bay? I think that's this one. Like I said, I did just sneeze and all of my brain power went out my ears, my nose, everything. So yeah, a little bit lacking in the thought power today, but that's not unusual. And I also did just record a video, so whenever I record, I verbally vomit for however long the video is, and then when I'm done, I just wordlessly upload it, and my brain doesn't really have to think, because it's, you know, click these buttons, do this, add that. It's sort of a monotonous task. Not monotonous, but, you know, you don't really have to think too much. So the fact that, you know, I finished a video and my brain's like, okay, cool, shutdown time. No, I still have to talk. I still have to finish this video, and here I am with the brain power of a cheese sandwich. But that's also my usual state of being, so yeah, not too worried about that. That's just the norm. But yeah, this little cottagey build type thing is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom build. And I imagine the person who lives here is really grouchy and they don't actually want to run the farm, but they kind of have to. I don't know why you'd have to, but they do for some reason. And they don't let people into their house, and they just really hate people being there, which understandable. I would hate people coming to my house every day. You know, I do live with roommates, so they obviously have people over from time to time, and I don't really hate it because they give me warning. Like, I know that the NRL grand final is coming up soon, and I know that some of the roommates, their friends, are going to come over and watch the football. They did it last year. So, you know, like, it's not a big deal to me. Like, I can prepare for that. Whereas if you lived here, it would kind of be like every single day. Like, you would have to deal with this every single day. You would have people here all the time. And maybe you'd have a quiet day where not many people showed up, but there'd be that constant fear of like someone could show up. And I feel like, yeah, there's a grouchy old man who lives here who's like, I'm over this stupid farm thing, but he does love the sunflowers. You know, he likes to, it's not even he loves it, he's just good at what he does, and he likes to be good at what he does. So he takes care of the sunflower farm. And, you know, maybe he's got like a grandson or a nephew or a granddaughter or some sort of relative of some kind, who comes and helps out on the farm, and they're the one who does all of the like people side of things. You know, greeting people, showing them around, talking to them about sunflowers, and, you know, teaching them all the fun facts about them and whatnot. And, you know, he's just a grouchy old man who's grouching about. And, you know, maybe he had a partner who originally ran it, and because his partner was there, he was like, you know, I can put up with this because this is what my partner wants. But now he doesn't have his partner, and it's just, you know, it's just a little bit sad, you know, like he's just a little sad guy who misses his partner and is continuing to run this farm in their memory, I guess. That was really sad. I'm sorry if I just made anyone sad with this guy's life story. I just made myself sad. Poor guy. I feel bad for him. I hope he finds happiness. He's a guy invented in my head. I could give him happiness, but that's not the point. The point is he runs the sunflower farm. And that is why the interior of this build is a little bit blank, just like a tiny bit blank. Mostly, honestly, because I was tired and I did not want to spend forever and a day detailing it, and also because I know that if you want to use this build for gameplay, detailing the heck out of it is annoying. It's frustrating. It's not the greatest. So yeah, if you're looking for sort of like an off-the-grid, it's not an off-the-grid build, but like that sort of lifestyle sort of thing. There's no TV in here, no computer. I don't even think there's a skill, like a skill building item. I mean, obviously the kitchen you can do skill building, but there's no like easel or, I was gonna say telescope, but I don't think telescope is a skill. There's no easel or chess table or anything like that. So yeah, it's a fairly blank build, but I think that's a good thing because it's one of those things where like, okay, maybe you like the farm, like the little flower farm, and you want to take photos with your sim in front of it, but you don't necessarily like the size of the house, and you're okay with doing a little bit of renovation, like you can renovate it. But if you want it the way it is, then perfect. Or if you don't like the farm bit and you like the house and you want to add like a skill building shed or something like that, you can easily replace the sunflower farm with a skill building thing, or the actual shed that's out the back with a car in it. You could take that out and put in actual skill building stuff. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things like you can kind of do whatever you want, but I tried to make it as sort of accessible as possible with, you know, in terms of making sure that, yeah, it's movable, walkable, all that sort of stuff. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I did just even check to make sure that bookshelf wasn't too close to the fridge. I'm learning to make sure to check these things so that, yeah, it is a usable and functional build, because, yeah, I don't know, not all of my builds need to be usable and functional. I mean, I recently did a monkey enclosure, or a monkey sanctuary, I guess. Not an enclosure, it's just like a little space for them to run around in the wild, and that is completely unusable. Completely unusable. Like, there's not a single thing in that. I don't even think I put a pea bush. Like, it's completely useless. There is plants and random bits of wood and trees. Trees are plants, I guess. There is greenery, there's nature, there's landscaping, and then there's different types of wood around, none of which are functional because they are all debug. So I'm okay with doing completely useless builds. I'm doing okay with doing builds that are not functional. But sometimes I want to, you know, trade it up a little. I want to have fun and do a little build here and a little build there where it's just a little bit different, you know, a little bit more interesting and fun, and that's not the word I was looking for, but that's also true. I want to do builds, sorry, that are usable. That's what I was looking for. Totally brain glitch moment. Yeah, I want to do builds that are a bit more usable for folks who want builds that are usable. So I do try and balance it out a bit. Like I said, completely useless build versus this build which is probably mostly usable. I think the only thing that wouldn't be usable is the shed, because there's a car in it and you can't open the doors. But that's the only thing that's in there. So really, is it unusable? Not really. Like, you could just delete the car and it'll be fine. But there's nothing in there for you to use, so it's not like I am wasting space and making it not functional. It is functional. It's just got no use to be functional, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, you know, I try and balance these things around, and I do try and make it a little bit pretty. Like, you know, I could have just left it as a really blank, bland build, but look at that. Like, I added little flowers everywhere and a little light outside and the hanging plant. And I had curtains on all the windows. Like, I don't know how to add curtains. They've got no functionality. And light switches also have no functionality. I made sure to use the base game ones. When I add things that I'm like, I don't know if I want to add or not, I always make sure to add base game ones, because, you know, if people are like, that's a dumb idea, why'd you do that? I can just delete it, or, you know, like, people can still access it if they do like it. And especially with builds like this build doesn't need to have the fancy light switches that the other packs, like the ones that come with DLC, they're just, I think the base game ones worked the best in this build, which I'm glad, because yeah, I do try and use base game more than often, more than not. But sometimes, yeah, I'll come along and just like pull out a bunch of random things and hope for the best. But yeah, this little section that I'm kind of working on now, where I put the cars in, I end up putting in little traffic cones. We call them witches' hats here. So I put some witches' hats in, and it's supposed to be like, okay, if you're parking here to visit, you have to park on this side of the witch's hat. And the grey car, you can see it's kind of a little bit further out, and I kind of push it to the side and move the witches' hats, so it looks like they've moved the witches' hats so that other people can't hit their car. Also, other people can't get, I mean, even if the grey car did park normally, they'd still not be able to get their cars out. But yeah, the grey car has also blocked in, I put a tractor. I was wondering if we did have a tractor in the game. It's not in the transportation section, which is a bit odd. So I end up finding it and putting it in elsewhere, like later. But yeah, I don't know, I just felt like it'd be funny to kind of put in this silly little story. You know, sometimes when I do builds, there's no story, there's no, like, nothing happening, it's just existing, you know? But this, I feel like, you know, it's a little bit of a story. It's kind of fun, kind of cute, like kind of different. It adds a little bit of character to it rather than just a plain build. And even things like, okay, I put these reed things in, I don't really know what they are, but they were all facing the same way and it became uniform. And even when I changed every second one, it was still pretty uniform. So I just went in and scrunkled them up. That's the best way I can put it. Is I just grabbed random ones and rotated them and squished them around, and then when I looked from a ground level perspective, they were completely shuffled around and whatnot, and it looked very wild. And that's kind of the goal. Like, yes, it's being intentionally grown and somewhat neat, but it wouldn't grow uniformly. Like, there's not many things that grow where you can stand in a line and everything is perfectly lined up down to the petal. So yeah, I definitely tried to make it a little bit more fun and different and whatnot. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts down below on this build. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think, if you think there's improvements, definitely let me know where. Also, fun fact, if sunflowers can't reach the sun because they face the sun for the sun reason, like they photosynthesize in the sun and whatnot. If they can't get to the sun, or if the sun, something's blocking it, they'll actually turn to each other, which I think is super cute. I think that's just really, really sweet, you know, where they're like, you know, just let me face you, you know, you are my sun. That's cute. I think that's really sweet. But yeah, I do struggle a bit with these sunflowers because it's just the ones on the far left. Every other one that I put in, every other set of sunflowers I put in, I feel pretty good about. Like, they're pretty uneven and smushed around a bit. But the ones on the far left, there was way too many of them. They were way too close. And when you looked down them, it was just like, okay, you can clearly see I've staggered them, but they go left, right, left, right, left, right. And yeah, I definitely went in and changed it up a little bit. But yeah, if you've ever been to a sunflower field, or a sunflower farm, I guess, let me know how accurate it is. Because like I said before, I've never been to one. I think it would be like a fun, cute little date situation going out. You know, going to visit the sunflowers, take some photos, whatever, but then like go somewhere and have a little picnic nearby. I think that would be really, really cute. And I did actually put in some seating in this area and a drink tray thing. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but it's the, I think it's from the Party Essentials kit. I think that's what it's called. And it's the little it comes with like cups and a big jug thing of drink and maybe like napkins or something like that. I just put out the drink one. I did not put out the food one because that, yeah, there is one with like little snacks and stuff, but it just didn't feel right, you know, like it didn't feel right to have little snacky snacks. I feel like this is a place where it would just have drink, sir. But I did forget to put an outdoor bin in. That's probably something that should have gone in, because if people are drinking little drinks out of paper cups, yeah, we might want to put them in the bin. And also, if you're playing in this build, you might want a bin. I've also just realised I didn't put a mailbox in. I am so sorry. There's no bin, outdoor bin or mailbox in this build, but if you don't know this, when you download from the gallery, it's just going to put a mailbox in wherever. It's just going to put that base game one in. So you might be having a little look around and you might be jump scared by a mailbox. Sometimes they get placed inside the build, which I think is a little random. And sometimes they get placed in like just like the corner of the build, which I think is fair enough. You know, chuck it in the corner. Yeah, like so. There's been times where I've been watching people tour builds and they'll go inside it, and as soon as you go in the front door, oh, okay, cool, there's the mailbox. Or you'll just be like, you know, touring a family home and you'll go into the nursery and, oh, cool, there's a mailbox in the nursery. I guess the mail person is going through the entire house to find the child's room to put the mail in. I don't know how they've coded it. I would love to know. I'd love to know how they coded it for mailboxes to appear. I think it's kind of, yeah, very weird, very interesting, and I would love to know what the, like why, where, how, what's the decision on the mailbox? How does it work? I don't know, I find silly little things like that super interesting. Like, it's just a mailbox, and like where they place it, but I want to know. I got into a very passionate discussion the other day with my roommate about Kit Kats, and, you know, they use some of the previous batch of Kit Kat to crush up and put inside the next batch, and, you know, we were debating, like, okay, how do you get the first Kit Kat? And I know that's a big joke going around, but I was like, okay, on a serious note, they probably made the Kit Kat in, like, a mold, right? They've used the same recipe since the day it started, so they've probably made it in a mold, and then taken that and crushed it up and put it into new ones. But my roommate was like, but, like, the first set would have to be smaller, otherwise the second Kit Kat would have been bigger than what it is now. Like, the Kit Kat with the crunched up first one. And I think it's not a one-to-one. Like, you don't take 50% of Kit Kats off the line to crush them up to put them in the next 50. I think it's like, you know, if you take 10 off the line, you could crush them up and put them in over 100. Like, you know, like, I don't know what the ratio is, but that's what I think. And if that's true, I would love to know the ratio. So yeah, it's just random silly little things like that I'd like to know. So if you work in Kit Kat or know anything about that, please let me know. What's the ratio? If that's the way it works, what is the ratio of Kit Kats that go out to be sold versus the Kit Kats that are cycled back to be crushed up? And is it like, you know, the ones that are deemed unpretty, are they the ones that are crushed up? Because that means you're not wasting food, and I appreciate that. I really don't care about the aesthetics of my Kit Kat, but I do appreciate not wasting food, so that would be like a cool idea, like a cool way of not wasting food. But I'm more interested in, yeah, what is the ratio? How many Kit Kats go out versus how many go back in to be crushed to be put in the next set of Kit Kats? I just want to know random little facts like this. I love knowing silly little facts that are like, it has zero impact or effect on my life. It has zero meaning. Like, there's nothing that's going to change about my life other than the fact that I know this one piece of information. So if you've got any fun facts like that, doesn't have to be about Kit Kats or anything like that, let me know. Just whatever random little fun fact. Whatever random little fun fact you know, definitely let me know. You know, if you know a random fact about cheese, or there I go again with the cheese, it's always cheese, or the invention of corkscrew toppers on wine bottles, or I don't know, whatever it is, you know, your fun little random fact, let me know. I do really love random fun little facts that just don't make any sense, you know, like it just doesn't, like, why would I need to know that? I don't, but now I do, and I feel better that I do. So yeah, definitely leave them down below. Yeah, it doesn't matter how random it is. I am here for random fun little facts. They are definitely my favourite. But yeah, we are pretty much finished up here. I think I just do a little bit more landscaping. A few trees here and there. And then we will jump into screenshots in just a second. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out. I'm definitely trying to get back onto my regular schedule. It's kind of a little bit daunting and overwhelming because I am so far behind and it's stressing me out, but I'm trying to ignore the stress so that I can keep on track, or so I can get back on track. But yeah, today you will get 2 videos. I've been saying that like I'm supposed to be doing 2. Today you will get 2 because this is the second one I'm recording. Recorded the first one about an hour ago. And I'm going to be uploading that while this one renders. So yeah, just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out, vibing, and listening to my random rambles. And if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe. I do come out with currently 2 videos a day, hopefully. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.